Nickelback, and you're listening to Heard It on the X.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to Heard It on the X, the East Coast premier music talk show. These shows just fly right by. Right now, we are joined on the phone by Joel Sullivan, the author of Red, Sammy Hagar's new book, which is #1 New York Times bestseller this week, and Chris Cannella, awesome guitar player from Autumn's End, and Eddie Van Halen's right-hand man at EVH Guitars.
Yes.
Guys, we could talk about this for forever and ever and ever, and I know Ross wants to ask Joel one more question. What did you want to ask him, Ross?
Joel, how much, the book was just so riveting and an easy read. How much material didn't make the book, and will we see any extra chapters when the paperback comes out?
The bonus tracks, huh?
Yeah, we need bonus tracks, Joel.
There were a few extraneous stories that I never could quite fit into the narrative flow. You know, some wacky stuff about cars and things that didn't have to do with the main frame of the story, which is Sammy's musical career. So there's not really enough on the cutting room floor to float much, but I mean that's what bonus tracks are all like anyway. I've never heard a bonus track I was surprised it wasn't on the album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like 2011 may have some new fodder for you. It sounds like both Chickenfoot and Van Halen will be releasing albums in the same year.
Well, Chickenfoot, they're they're in the studio. They're about done, and they're the last new classic rock band. They haven't had one. They don't have those anymore.
Yeah, that's true. The Chickenfoot, Black Country Communion, kind of, but you're right with Chickenfoot. Joel, do you have .coms you want to push, anything like that, brother? I thank you so much.
If anybody's curious, there certainly is a www.joelselvin.com. It's full of all kinds of interesting BS and lots of games and toys and downloads available. So, hey, sure, check me out, joelselvin.com. And Red, My Uncensored Life in Rock by Sammy Hagar, Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, or hopefully your local independent bookseller.
I was going to say maybe one of those old-fashioned bookstores they used to have.
A good old bookstore.
Yeah.
And
Love those guys.
Chris, Autumn's End, you got anything going on with Autumn's End?
Yeah, actually, well, right now we are in the midst of, doing the record. We still got some more tracking to do for the other guys. I still have my vocals to do, but that'll come out here in the summer. And then we'll be doing some regional touring and stuff like that afterwards. But between work and running EVH for Fender and Ed, I'm going to be out traveling around the world between Canada and Asia here over the next few months as well. So that's kind of putting a little bit of an extension on the release of the record. But, hey, duty calls.
Duty calls, and I gotta say, EVH gear, we sell it at the Music Exchange, and it is on fire this year. On fire. They've released some new product, new amplifiers, and it's great stuff. So stop at the Music Exchange to see it, guys. I could talk to you for another full show, and maybe if you guys don't mind in the near future, we can set it up. If that would be all right.
Thanks, Rich.
You always know that I'm good for you, man. I'll come on your show anytime.
All right, guys. I'm gonna let you go now, and I thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. Thank you.
Take care,
All
everybody.
right, bye-bye.
Take care.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. And both those guys just, they've heard so many,
Yeah.
sides of the story and stuff. It's great to get them both on the air at the same time. And, it's a very interesting book.
By the way, right?
Did you like that? I handled the phones well. Last time we had Cannibal Corpse and Chris on it. I kept dumping Chris, and it was just a nightmare. It was a complete nightmare. I know we got to go to music news, and we're going to have Ross stick around with us and add some commentary on music news. So I can't say music news right now.
Music news, I couldn't say that I'm often imitated, never duplicated.
So what do we have music news-wise?
Music news-wise, we got to open up music news with the Kim Marie.
Well, the Kim Marie report.
Kim Marie, Bret Michaels report. Kim Marie was very excited. Well, I don't know if she's very excited, but she's
anytime Bret's name is mentioned.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what's going on.
The screensaver in the office is Bret. She's on a war with Steve Bader in the office.
Yeah, we should give Steve props because Steve does a lot of work for us with the website. He got up the live chat. And
live chat, yep,
yeah,
exactly.
He does a lot of work for us, and he's a great guy. So give Steve props for the website. But, yeah, he and Kim Marie are battling over the background on one of the computers in the office.
It goes from Bret to some heavy metal, scantily clad woman back to Bret for some, and now it's you.
Is it me?
Yeah, it became you.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I don't know if that's a good thing or if you're a joke.
I didn't even know that it was me.
I think.
Am I scantily clad?
You're waving.
I'm waving. I'm going to have to check this one out. No, Bret Michaels is suing CBS and the Tony Awards over a injury that he had in 2009. It was an onstage injury. He's saying that they failed to instruct him how to exit the stage safely, and this led to a head injury.
That's the video of the scenery coming down and smacks him on the head.
It hits him in the head. So he is suing them because 6 months after this, he suffered that near fatal.
Well, yeah, when he had the aneurysm, there was. I don't know if they ever got to the bottom of it, and even if they could, but there was question if there was a cause, if that was a cause of it.
Yeah, and he says they quote failed and refused to remedy the situation. So yes, that will be in courts.
You'd think after all those years of staggering off the stage with poison, he'd have been well rehearsed there.
Yeah, and you know what I got to say right now? You figure that he would have enough eyesight to be able to see a scenery is going to hit him in the head. I'm sorry. Most human beings duck.
Maybe his hair.
It's like a natural reaction,
His flowing hair and the bandana.
Tripped on hair extension. He's tripped on.
Kim Marie wants to slap.
Yeah, she's getting very mad.
Did you see the footage of it? Have you ever seen the footage of it? The video footage, Russ? I mean, it's right in his eyes. It's a natural reaction to just duck. Have you ever? Let me ask you a question. We live in Western New York. Have you ever driven in your car after an ice storm or a bad storm where tree branches are hanging down, and you have this tendency to duck down, even though you're in your car? I mean, Bret should have done.
I don't do that.
You've never even
you duck when you see. What if an airplane?
You have a tendency to no. You have a tendency to want if you're going over. Say there was a bad storm and there's tree limbs down farther than they should be. You do have a natural tendency to want to duck down.
I don't do that. I actually reach my hand out the window and see if I can.
You're superhuman. I forgot.
Yeah, you forgot. Okay, another interesting music news story. In an interview earlier this week, Pete Townshend, member of The Who, he said he wished he never joined The Who. They asked him if there's anything he would have done differently in his career. He said he would have never joined a band. He would have went at it solo, and he thinks he would have had just as much success. He really regrets joining The Who, apparently, and he says he really thinks that today he'd be in much better medical condition had he never joined them. I guess, obviously, there's stories that, his ears are shot, but also his right wrist and shoulder, he has problems with those, too. So he said in an interview that he wishes he never joined The Who, which is shocking because The Who is known... They're mentioned as one of the greatest rock bands ever.
Here's my take on this, and I know we got to hurry, but you're allowed to say flamboyant, stupid statements when you're a member of The Who, right. Idiot. You've been a member of The Who. Probably if you had to name 10 of the most monumental bands in the history of rock and roll, they would be in there. So it's easy for you to say, I wish I had never done that. Come on.
Another music news story, which I think you'll be excited about, in an interview earlier this week, also Steven Van Zandt said he believes Bruce Springsteen will be releasing a solo album in the near future before he gets back together with the band. He said that he has no proof, and they haven't talked about it, but he said he knows that Bruce is writing songs and that he has almost a whole album in his back pocket, and it could be in the works. So hopefully within the coming future.
I feel the last 4 Bruce Springsteen albums were solo albums anyways. Yeah. He just had the E Street, don't you? I mean, he just had the E Street Band recorder of them, really. I mean, they were all, very much, Springsteen solo albums.
That Springsteen solo.
Really, since the reunion, I think that everything's kind of been, he gives them credit, and I don't know if they even have writing credits, but
I'm not really sure. But that Seeger Sessions, that was him. That was the last Springsteen solo album,
right? I think Tunnel.
But that was all covers. So Seeger Sessions. Yeah. So the last full, Springsteen solo album credited as a Springsteen solo album was Devils and Dust.
Right. Yeah.
Which would have been like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Also, music news, our good friend Justin Bieber, who is always in music news, passed Michael Jackson this week as the king of the U.S. box office. His movie Never Say Never surpassed Michael Jackson's This Is It, and it is now the most successful concert-themed movie in the box office ever. Michael Jackson's was $72.1 million that it had grossed in theaters. Bieber hit 72.2 on last Sunday.
Outrageous.
Yep.
Yeah, wow.
So everybody's going to see the Biebs. How many times have you seen it, Rich? Because I know, what is it, 16, 17?
I have not seen
You're
it.
going after
you
the
wanted
show.
to see it because you had the glasses.
Yes, I did, but that was for research only, okay? There's research purposes for the show. I had to see what was going on, see what all the craze was.
We also want to wish happy birthday to Steven Tyler, who is 63, I think yesterday, and looks more and more like an ugly woman every day.
Wow.
Don't you think? There's a poster of him down here in the hallway in the studio.
Yeah.
And it is the most awkward, strange looking.
It is a very strange looking.
Even at 63, I'd still like to party with him and Charlie Sheen, though.
Oh,
That'd be quite a night out.
You know the funny thing about American Idol? You got Jennifer Lopez and you got Steven Tyler. And I think the world of Steven Tyler. I think the world of Aerosmith. I think they're probably one of the greatest American rock and roll bands ever. But neither of those two people would make it on American Idol if they auditioned for American Idol. I think it's just so funny.
Yeah, it is kind of funny there now that you mention it. But real quick, you said Steven Tyler's birthday was yesterday. I'd like to wish our good friend Jack Salerno a happy birthday. It was his birthday yesterday. Jack's a good friend of all of us, and he stopped out, saw Rich and Famous.
Yeah.
And so happy birthday, Jack.
His son Mike sat in later on in the night, and Mike was phenomenal. We've come to the end of another great show. I want to thank Ross Cat for sitting in. Next show is Big Leg Emma?
Next Saturday night, Big Leg Emma with the Michael Glibicki Trio, Rusted Root Guys. Great show. Tickets available. Club Infinity next Saturday night.
Back-to-backs on Facebook and backtoback.com.
Yep, and the Rock Report with Ross Katz and Nightlife Magazine every week and on bestofwesternewyork.com.
I want to thank Joel Sullivan and Chris Canella. On behalf of the doctor, the lovely Kim Marie, and Matt, remember, folks, if you heard it on the X.